Hello students, welcome to the next lecture 2 of the unit 3, that is instrumental methods. Instrumental methods. Okay, so in the last class we have learned regarding the what to say that TGA, thermogrametric analysis, and we have seen the instrumental part and the different components of the instruments. And the last concept we learned was regarding the XY recorder, so how it is being recorded with respect to the temperature and the mass. Okay, so this is what the last point we discussed in the last video. So today we'll go for some of the factors, okay, influencing TGA, that is thermogrametric analysis. So in this, so we will see that the heating rate. Okay, so this is what usually if you see, it's a common to it is common that if you heat the faster, if you keep the fast heating rate HR, so what will happen, the rate of decomposition is also fast. So what will happen, the rate of decomposition is also fast, which is not required. So that's why always the heating rate should be kept optimum. So we should know exact at what point we have to fix the heating rate for a particular component or the substance what we are going to take. Is it right? So this is what very important, the first factor. So always optimum to keep is a better for the heating rate, to see that the rate of decomposition is kept into constant check here. So the next is the furnace atmosphere. The furnace atmosphere. Okay, so this is very much important, atmosphere, and usually the constant atmosphere is usually maintained here. The constant atmosphere is maintained. Okay, so this is very much important, and the furnace atmosphere is usually it is done by blowing air. It is done by blowing the air here and through the furnace, and we say it as a static air. Okay, so we are blowing this air through the furnace, and for that we call it as a static air. And in another case, there is, we can see, there is blowing of compressed air. This is also important. So blowing of the compressed air from use of cylinders. Okay, the cylinder is used, and with a force, with this one, the compressed air is been blown into the furnace, and that we call as dynamic air. Dynamic air. So there are two types of air in the furnace we are going to put here. So then the static air with the constant blowing of the air, and the compressed air, that is called the dynamic air. Now here sometimes there is employing of nitrogen gas, so which is a inert gas here. So that nitrogen gas is employed, which is free from oxygen. So this is what about the furnace atmosphere. So this is the factors which you have to keep in the mind for the furnace atmosphere. Now if you go for the next, is the geometry, crucible and the geometry. Okay, this already have told in the first video, the crucible and the geometry. Here actually, as I said, there should be the flat shaped crucible. Why? Because if you take the flat shape, so what will happen, you can see that, so if this type of crucible if you take, so you can see that diffusion of gas is very much easy. Diffusion of gas is easy. Okay, so the flatter the surface, more surface area, so whatever after decomposition, you can see the gas is evolved, so the diffusion is very easy if you take the geometry or the shape of the crucible flattened way. Okay, so this is what. And if you see the next, that is sample characteristics. Sample characteristic. So in this, you can see that the sample should be the small quantity. So you have to take the sample in small quantity, and with the small particle size, this is important. Okay, so you have to take the sample in a small particle, crush it and make it a very powder form, amorphous type, and that is what you have to take for the for the sample into the crucible here. So this is what about the factors, fourth factor, which is a sample characteristic. So this is how, if you go for the application of TGA, that is thermogrametric analysis. So this, if you take the first here, this whatever the TGA curve, okay, we are going to get. So this gives the information of chemical kinetics. This is the first one. Okay, so whatever the TGA curve we are going to get from this, so this helps in knowing the chemical kinetics of the drugs. Okay, whenever we go for the chemical kinetics of the clinical study, so we can see that this TGA curve helps us to understand the chemical reaction taking place there. The second, if you see the amount of water, present in clay and soil. Okay, so this can be determined. So this is very much important. So amount of water present in the clay and soil, so this can be determined in clay industry, pottery industry, you can see. So this helps to know the amount of water which is present in this case. And even roasting and calcination of minerals, roasting and calcination of minerals. Okay, in this study also you can see that the TGA is going to help us. And even in solid state reactions, so definitely this TGA is helping us. And even in determination of composition of complex mixture, determination of composition of complex mixture. Okay, so this is what also it helps in determination the composition of the complex mixtures. Okay, this is what. And even in determination of correct, this is fourth, then determination of correct, okay, drying and ignition temperature. Determination of correct drying and ignition temperature of substances. Okay, so this is also helps this TGA helps us. And finally you can see that it also helps in determination of purity, and thermal stability. Okay, and thermal stability of primary and secondary standards. Okay, primary and secondary standards. So this is how, so we can see the different application of TGA. So first thing important is chemical kinetics, second is amount of water which is present in clay and soil, in metallurgy, roasting and calcination of the mineral system, solid state reactions, wherever the solid state reactions is there, definitely TGA is very useful. Determination of composition of complex mixtures, so in coordination definitely it is helped. The determination of the correct drying and ignition temperature, surely definitely temperature is there, so that curve is going to help us. And you can see the determination of purity of the thermal and purity and thermal stability of the primary and secondary standards. So this is how we can see that some of the applications of the applications of TGA is being used even in some of the titrations. Okay, so used in some of the titrations also. And if you see the thermal decomposition, okay, this is a titration. In some of the cases of titration also it helps us in thermal decomposition of organic, sometimes polymeric compounds. Okay, or sometimes you can see the mechanism of polymer even can be studied. Mechanism of polymerization can also be studied. Okay, so this is what about the some of the again we can see even in titration also it can be seen that the TGA is going to help us. And even in the compounds, in thermal decomposition of organic, even inorganic also, and polymeric, organic, inorganic and polymeric compounds, so can be studied. And you can see that even the mechanism of polymerization can also be studied with the help of the TGA. If you come to limitations, so if you see the limitations of this, so our first limitation, as I said in the previous video, so that this TGA is only applicable for solid. This is the first. Okay, this is only applicable for the solid only. Okay, and if you see the whatever in the instrumental part we have seen the thermocouple. Okay, whatever the thermocouple is kept very close to sample. This is what it is, kept close to sample but not in contact, with sample. Okay, this is what, and that's why what happens here, the exact temperature of the sample cannot be detected. So with this, what will happen, the exact temperature of sample is cannot be detected here. So this is what the limitations. Okay, so thermocouple, definitely whatever we are using in the instrumental part, so it is close to sample but it is not in the contact with the sample, and that's why whatever the temperature we are going to get, that will not be the exact temperature, but somewhat the average we are going to get with this type of this also one of the limitations in this TGA. Okay, so this is what, if you go for some of the examples of the TGA. Okay, so examples, if we go, so the first example we can take it is of we take this graph here like this, and here we are seeing that this is temperature, and here we know that this is a weight or mass in milligrams. Okay, so always, and if you see the curve what we are going to get for the example copper sulfate pentahydrate, okay, the curve what we are going to get is somewhat like this. Okay, so this is how we get the curve of Tg of copper sulfate pentahydrate. So you can take it here, CuSO4.5H2O, somewhat here 100 degree, and here somewhat 275, and you can take it here 300 or 325 something. Okay, 300, so you can set it here, 100 I have taken, so 125, 275 I have taken, so 300 I have taken, so 350, like this you can take the scale here and manage it. Okay, so this is what we are going to get the graph of copper sulfate pentahydrate TGA graph. Now if you see, so here first it is very constant here, there is no weight of loss here, so as it go down near 100 degree, you know that 100 degree is coming, so slowly you can see at this is your exactly 100 degree, and above the 100 degree you can see there is loss in the weight here like this. Okay, up to 100 degree there is nothing happening, but above 100 degree you can see there is loss of weight. Why? Because you know above 100 degree the water is going to be lost here. The first reaction I can give is here, CuSO4.5H2O when heated above 100 degree. Okay, above 100 degree centigrade, so you are going to see that copper sulfate 3H2O and 2H2O is going to be lost in the form of steam here, gas. So this happens here. Again there is a constant here, there is no loss, nothing is happening for the weight here, almost constant, and again there is a loss here. This is a 200, and about 200 near to 275 degree, 250 or 275 you can see, again there is a loss of weight here, so like this. Okay, now here I will take it as A. In B case, what is going to happen here, copper sulfate 3H2O. Okay, now when this is heated around 250 degree centigrade or above, nearly 275, you are going to see that this copper sulfate is going to lose 2 moles of water of crystallization here like this. Okay, so 2 is going to lose and 1 is going to happen here, and again there is constant weight here. Again see here above 300 here, so above 300 again there is loss of weight here. So if I take it as a C here, and last case if you take here CuSO4.H2O, and in C case if you see, if you heat above 300 degree centigrade, so you are going to get your anhydrous copper sulfate plus H2 is going out. This is what, and here what you are going to get is anhydrous H2SO4. So I can write here CuSO4, there is no water, and white color powder you are going to get here. So this is a blue color, and you are ending up with the white color powder here. So whole water is been out here. So this is going to form around 375 degrees centigrade. See, so this is how the TGA helps us. Now if you increase, again I will take it T here, which is not shown here, so it will go down and down. Now if you increase this to the temperature of 973, now whatever this copper sulfate is there, if you heat this around 973 to something 1000 degree centigrade, okay, so what will happen, this copper sulfate is going to break down to cupric oxide, and some oxygen is going to be liberated. Okay, so 2 3 4. Yes, so something you can see, this is very much important. This copper sulfate is going to be broken into copper oxide here. So this is what happened at 972,000 degree. Again, if you increase now, so this copper sulfate, if you increase this temperature again to around 1300 degrees centigrade to 973 degree centigrade to 1200, above this, and this temperature if you keep, further this copper sulfate is going to break down to cuprous oxide, and with the liberation of, you can see, the oxygen molecule here. Okay, so these 2 moles you can take Cu2. Yes, so this is what happens here. Now this is what about the temperature. If you heat, so you are going to say, you are going to see that cuprous oxide is going to be the cuprous oxide is going to be formed here. So this is how the TGA diagram and the application part with the example of copper sulfate we can show very nicely. See, this is very beautiful. We are going to get the graph here, and very nicely you can see stepwise you can see there is a role of disintegration or decomposition of the copper sulfate in this case. So similarly, in the second case, we can show of the calcium oxalate CaC2O4. So this also we can show dot H2O monohydrate. Now if you see the graph of this like this, you can take a graph similarly. So you can take like this. Okay, so here also you can see this is CaC2O4 calcium oxalate monohydrate like this. Okay, and similarly here also 100 degree, you can see start up with 100 degree only. So you can see I will take it as A here. So here calcium C2O4 oxalate monohydrate above 100 degree centigrade. Similarly same thing above 100 degree centigrade. So you are going to get calcium oxalate plus water is liberated here. So you can see here now the weight is decreased here, and it remains decrease, and afterwards it remains constant here. At a temperature you come around 300, and above 300 you can see, so it again there is a decrease above 300. Again you can see there is a decrease here. So at around 346 you can take it. So I will write here B. Now whatever this calcium oxalate CaC2O4 is remained, so above around 350 degrees centigrade, as the temperature goes, this will decompose again into calcium carbonate, plus you can see carbon dioxide gas is liberated here. So this is going to come with calcium carbonate. Again the weight is lost here, and you can see carbon dioxide is liberated, and again as it comes down here, to some extent it is slow. Again you can see here, again it will be here above 600, you can take it here, and above 600 you can see again it is decreased here. So I will take it as a C here. Now what happens, calcium carbonate is there around 650 degrees centigrade, above 600 degree. If you see, again this decomposes into calcium oxide, and carbon dioxide is going to CO2. I think this is carbon monoxide. So 2 3 4 5, no, you take it as carbon monoxide here. Okay, and here carbon dioxide 2 3, just check, you can balance it afterwards. So this is what carbon dioxide gas is liberated here. So ultimately you can see this is your calcium oxide, and here you can take it as a calcium carbonate. This is your calcium oxalate, and finally you can see, so this is how you can see the graph shows that how there is a decomposition, and this is a reaction what we've seen, and a particular temperature, at what temperature there is the weight of loss of the mass here. So this is how the application part of the TGA helps us to help us to know the weight loss, and as well as the particular decomposition. So this is what about the TGA, that is thermogravimetric analysis. Very simple. Okay, so very beautiful. O1 is there, and all, as I said, factors will be maintained here. Just you have to take the compound in flat crucible, and you have to place it here, and you have to maintain atmospheric air here, and you have to support with the nitrogen gas, inert nature, and along with the pressure, static air or dynamic air, whatever it may be, to maintain the constant here. Then there is a thermocouple, so maintaining the temperature, and slowly you can see that slowly there is a increase in the temperature, and as the temperature is slowly increased, you can see there is the change is observed. Chemical and physical property of the compound is going to be changed, and you can see as it changes, you can see there is change in the graph also like this. Okay, so this has been recorded by XY recorder, and you can see it is slowly changing, by which, so not sharply, but to some extent you are going to see the change at a particular temperature. You can see that the weight loss will be there, and finally the degradation, you can see further degradation, like in copper sulfate, cupric oxide, cuprous oxide we are getting. So like this you are going to get the final stage here. So this is how it helps us TGA in understanding the physical and chemical properties of any of the given unknown compound here. So here we have learned regarding the regarding the TGA, that is thermogrammetric analysis. So whatever required point is there, so I have introduced into this thermogrammetric analysis. Okay, so now we'll go for the next concept, that is your DTA, that is differential thermal analysis. Okay, make a nice notes of this one. Now we'll go for differential thermal analysis. This also comes in the methods of thermal methods analysis. Thermal method of analysis, like TGA, you can see here also change in physical and chemical, change in physical and chemical properties, physical and chemical properties of a substance is measured, properties of substance is measured as a function of temperature, as a function of temperature. So this is what the important point here. Same thing as TGA, this also is a differential method. Thermal method is also a thermal method of analysis where the change in physical and chemical property of a substance is measured as a function of temperature or time. So this is what about the and you know that as we in the first video we have seen that this is classified into different TGA, DTA, what we are learning, then DSC, and then gaseous analysis. And this is what we have completed now, and now we are going to touch up with your DTA. So what is this DTA? As I said, differential thermal analysis. So it is a technique in which I will write here, so you can note down, technique in which the difference in temperature, the difference in temperature between sample and reference, between sample and the reference, okay, material, reference material is monitored, is monitored is monitored against time, okay, or temperature, against time or temperature. So while the temperature of sample, okay, this is important, temperature, while the temperature of sample in a specified atmosphere, is programmed, and is given by delta T is equal to TR minus TS. So this is what very important of the DTA, that is differential thermal analysis. It's a technique in which the difference in temperature between the sample and reference, this is very much important. Okay, so differential, that is what, so differential is meant a difference, that is what we have to take here. So temperature difference between the sample and the reference material is monitored here against the time or temperature, while the temperature of the sample is specified, atmosphere is programmed. So this is what here programming is there, temperature programmed material will be there, and finally you can see it is been taken the difference between reference and sample here, delta T. So this is what the differential thermal analysis, so we call it as in this way. So it is little bit different from the TGA, thermogrammetric analysis. So it is a differentiated graph you are going to get here, two graphs you are going to get here. So one is normal graph and one is differentiated graph. Okay, now if you see the instrument here, so up to here we can learn today. So if you see the instrument, so this is what the furnace, like this you can take, and here also you can bound it in this way. Okay, and where you can see this is a sample here, like this, and you can see here, so there is somewhat the thermocouple kept here, like this you can take, and this is how, in this way. So here the charges will be there, this is a negative, this you can take it as a positive here. Okay, or if this is a, you can take it outside also, this is a positive case here, and this thermocouple negative, and you can see then this is a temperature difference of the, this is a sample and this is a reference. Okay, and this is a sample temperature now, and this is a total temperature. Okay, this is a total temperature. That means from total, if you minus the sample, you are going to get the reference temperature. So this is important, this part is very much important. And you know that now this is connected to program controller. Okay, and this is your sample, and this is of reference and this is of the sample here, and this is connected to atmospheric. Okay, atmospheric air control is there, and even there is a cooling control here. Okay, it is attached to cooling control. Atmospheric control is there, atmospheric control, cooling control is there. Okay, so this is one, and this is your thermocouple. Okay, so this is your thermocouple, and you can see, and finally this is your this whatever the signal what we are going to get from here is amplifier or recorder is there, amplifier, and finally there is a recorder. Finally there is a recorder here. So like this, you can see that this is been designed, and this is your furnace. Okay, so like this, so make note of this very simple diagram of the DTA. Okay, so here what we require is your the two samples is placed here inside the furnace here, this reference and sample, and this is thermocouple. So positive here outside, plus, and here plus, and here negative here, and it is been like this is the placement of the thermocouple in this way. And you can see, so this temperature is sample here whatever we are getting, and this is the total temperature, and if you minus this you are going to get the temperature of reference here, and this is used, this data is used in calculation by amplified, and in that we are going to record, and we are going to get different graphs and the nature. So this and this has been as I said, this has been programmed, okay, controlled in the program, controlled, temperature controlled, and you are having atmospheric control also is there. So either you have to use static air or dynamic air or inert air is been maintained here, and when the heating control also is there, so that to maintain the constant temperature, the optimum temperature, the controlling is there here. So this total is a designing of the DTA instrument, which is known as differential thermal analyzer. So this is called as differential thermal analyzer. Okay, so this is what the total the instrument setup is there. So finally you can see this is connected to amplifier, and it is been recorded here. So hope probably in today's class this is more than sufficient. So in the next class we'll learn about this instrumentation and the different parts and the working of your differential thermal analyzer. So make the notes, write down nicely, and if any doubt is there, you can ask me in the Zoom meeting. Thank you.